Today is the Feast of the Transfiguration. Our Gospel text is taken from Matthew chapter 17, verses 1 through 9. Matthew here, as throughout his Gospel, depends to a certain degree on Mark, as indeed does Luke. All three of the synoptics describe this event. The second letter of Peter also refers to it. I think we have good reason to believe that we have here an historical fact. Something happened. We don't have to believe it happened exactly as Matthew describes it. But whatever it was, it made a huge impact on the life and teaching of Jesus and on the lives of the disciples present and through them in the early church. Hence, we celebrate it as a unique feast. Recall Matthew's account of Jesus' baptism. The words are heard, "This is my beloved, in him I'm well pleased." Matthew repeats those words at this event. "This is my beloved, my son, the beloved, in whom I'm well pleased." But then Matthew adds something quite significant. Listen to him. We are at a turning point in Matthew's Gospel. Jerusalem is hoving into view. There are echoes here of Exodus and of the forging of the covenant of old. If you go back to the theophany of Sinai as described in Exodus chapter 24, and also to some extent in chapter 34 of Exodus, you have references which are duplicated in Matthew here. On a high mountain, Moses is present, the shining face, 6 days, etc. Clearly, Jesus is part of this tradition. He's not running parallel to it. He's not running counter to it. Jesus is core, is essential, is central to this tradition. And in fact, Jesus fulfills this tradition. In him, the promises of old are brought to fruition. This is not discontinuity, it's continuity. Jesus fulfills and supersedes the law and the prophets. Peter, in the midst of this, says to Jesus, "It's great to be here. Let's build some tents, some arbors, dwellings, so we can stay here." Peter is clearly very confused. No wonder. What is beyond space and time is revealed, is evident in space and time. That the created world shows to us the Creator. We could put it another way. In Jesus, we have revealed to us, in space and time, the dwelling place of God. God dwells with us in space and time, in this material universe. Through him who is the Son, "This is my Son, the beloved," God is revealed as Father. There's no more intimate relationship in the Jewish tradition than that. And God is not only Father to Jesus, but Father to us, to all of us who align ourselves with Jesus. Jesus came and touched them, saying, "Get up, don't be afraid." And when they looked up, they saw no one except himself alone. They're restored simply to the here and now, to space and time as they've known it. They know it anew. They've awakened to something else that gives particular significance to all space and all time. This is the incarnation already starting to come to fruition. This event helps us to appreciate baptism. We're baptized into Him, He who represents the dwelling place of God in space and time. St. Paul, writing to the Romans, says we are baptized into Him. And then in Galatians, he says, I live now, not I, but Christ lives in me. We are, to use theological languages, through baptism, sacraments of God's presence in the world, sacraments who bridge the gap between space and time and infinity and eternity. This is a glorious thing when you come to realize it.